Welcome to the Shyamcast. This is Brett.
This is Shyam.
Thanks so much for being here with us today. How are you doing today, Prabhuji?
Nice. I'm a little light, so that is good. After 3 days of very busy schedule with Kalakanta Prabhu's visit,
Oh, very nice.
so programs now a little relax.
Mm. A little colder here too today.
Little
I s-
cold, yeah.
see you have the shawl on today.
Yeah, it's getting a little chilly.
Your two garments are pretty much you have your robes, and then if it's cold, you put the shawl on. That's all that's needed, right?
Pretty consistent.
Well, it's that actually it kind of speaks to the topic for today as well, or like the verse and kind of the general, the idea that we're going to be talking about today.
Mm,
So last time we discussed more specifically about Krishna himself.
mm,
This fourth chapter of Transcendental Knowledge
mm,
is Krishna explaining transcendental knowledge to Arjuna, or in other words, he's talking about himself to
mm,
Arjuna.
mm,
And so, last week we talked about, Krishna says, I'm not attached to anything. I don't desire the fruits of any actions.
mm,
And if you understand this about me, then you're not going to be entangled.
mm,
And so, the verse for this week has more to do with a little bit more detail about what, this person who doesn't want to get entangled
mm,
in material world, what are some of their qualities? What do they do? How do they act? And so something that goes along with that is simple living.
mm,
And I get, essentially just not straining for material things, but kind of taking things as they come.
mm,
And not sort of just living as simply as possible.
mm,
So the verse is chapter 4, verse 22.
mm.
And yeah, so this is what Krishna says.
Mm,
He who is satisfied with gain, which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions.
sounds very dense.
I guess we tend to have dense verses.
So we can take small pieces and
Yeah, each little piece.
yeah.
Would you mind if I just read the verse through one more time, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
He who is satisfied with gain, which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions.
Mm.
Hmm.
Okay, so where do we begin?
Hmm. Well, so one of the things that we've spoken about at different points is how we have to perform some action,
Mm,
right? Our last chapter was about karma yoga, or, how one performs action in the world, while following yogic principles.
mm,
And so Krishna is kind of reiterating that point here that, although this person is still performing action in the world, they're not becoming entangled. And so
mm,
he's really giving us, all of these clues, or I mean, pretty direct, points about how one can act in the world, be a part of the world still as a human being,
mm,
and not become entangled.
mm,
So the first one that he says, or the first item he lists is one who is satisfied with uh whatever comes of its own accord.
mm.
Yeah. So what do
Okay,
you
so
think about
let's
that, Prabhuji?
understand that little bit.
Hmm. So one thing that Srila Prabhupada actually mentions it in the purport of this verse. That, someone who is on this spiritual path, they don't endeavor too much to maintain the body
Mm,
or to, like They don't typically like go after things that are very luxurious. Um, they find that balance where
mm,
they take care of all of the bodily needs, all of their sort of material needs. They try to remain healthy, well taken care of,
mm,
but sort of never to excess.
mm,
And it's not like a huge part of what their mind space is occupied with.
mm,
They're sort of like, okay, let me just take care of what needs to be taken care of in this area while, my main energy goes into spiritual practice.
mm, mm,
Yeah. And in the verse when Krishna says that this person is satisfied with gain that comes of its own accord,
mm,
it's sort of it sounds to me like he's saying, you sort of just do work and whatever you get from it is what you get from it, and you don't try to get any more.
mm,
Yeah. What do you think about that?
mm. Well, that's practical, very practically how you have addressed. Um, there is also a meeting of Prahlad Maharaj with Prahlad Maharaj was going and he came to the cave. And in this cave, one person was just lying down. And Prahlad Maharaj said, you look, when Prahlad Maharaj saw him, he said, you look like a self-realized soul. From your eyes, I can see. Um, but then why are you sitting here and not doing anything? There is a Sanskrit term we use, Ajgar Vritti. Ajgar Vritti. Ajgar means python. So Ajgar Vritti means living like a python. So how a python does na? You stay in a room and then something comes to, if nothing comes, we fast. Something comes. So he was just lying there and he was like, whatever comes on its own accord, I accept. So that's like so that saintly person who met Prahlad Maharaj, he said the saint is like an Ajgar Vritti. Whatever comes on his own accord, he accepts. Very difficult to understand, like especially in today's day and society. So
Mm.
one time I remember our teacher Srila Prabhupada. So he was in a, I think we discussed before, he was in a railway station. They were going somewhere. And the person who was serving, he said, oh, Srila Prabhupada, I forgot to bring your lunch today. And you have been to India. So there are, in the train station especially, there are people who are carrying on a basket. They're carrying some samosas and something to eat. And they were going by the train side. And then Srila Prabhupada took his hand out, took a samosa, ate. He doesn't even know, he just kept walking. And then, very transcendental. And Prabhupada said, a sadhu never goes hungry. A saint doesn't go hungry. So in a way, yes, this verse can be applied in a very, very like different circumstances and for different people in different ways. It can be applied. But the idea is, as you mentioned, no over endeavor. Rupa Goswami says in one of his book, he says over endeavor is not good because it takes so much energy and the time which is meant for um, um, like serving, practicing, rendering devotional service to the Lord. That time, all the time um, goes in maintaining, and then some peanut of the time remains for devotional service, and everything is gone, 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 gone. No time actually. We met our friend Dora. She was she, me, and Kalakanta Prabhu. We were discussing yesterday, and she said, "Sham, my whole time goes in paying bills." I just work to pay my bills. Is that the life meant for? Just to pay my bills? I mean, it's a perspective. But the idea is less work and more time for devotional service. Actually, Prabhupada would say, um, 8 hours we work on a practical basis. And then the remaining time, we try to see how we can engage in a positive way to serve the society, serve the community, to render some service to the Lord. In that way, we maintain a very balanced life. So, over endeavor, and also it is described whatever is destined for us, that much we'll get.
Mm.
Some people will be like, okay, I'll do 3 jobs, 4 jobs. Then probably they will end up in getting less per hour. But the idea is whatever we are destined, we will get. So Narad Muni says in Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, um, no need to work extra because whatever is destined, we'll get only that much. Even if some extra comes, tomorrow the leg has a pain and then the doctor takes that away, or something happens and goes away. But we won't get what is destined, more than what is destined. And you also mentioned a devotee don't envy, so he don't compare himself like,
Mm.
oh, this person has so much luxury, I also want to be like him. This is like there is that nature of competition and some, and that envy is becoming our for some people the envy is becoming um, like we want to work hard because, but the reason is not to serve the Lord, but the reason is somebody else's progress and I want to be like there. They become one's role model, and then they work very hard and they will realize that they will get only what they are destined for, and then they become very morose, and a little bit extra they get, they feel very happy, and then it goes away because whatever is destined to come by its own accord, that goes away. And then they are morose and they're very much attached to results and they're very much affected. So the
Mm.
lament, like Alakanta was mentioning, lamentation is mode of ignorance, and hankering, I want to get there, is mode of passion. Both are not good. So in a practical way, Srila Prabhupada says, work limited, whatever is required. Srimad Bhagavatam says we should work to in such a way whatever keep the body and soul together. And how much does the body needs actually? It's like very minimal, right? How much, like some rice and some curry, and what does the body needs?
Mm.
But unfortunately, the society is designed in such a way that to live in this world is a struggle. It's just how the society is designed. If you see, not much is spent in food, but a lot is spent in the housing, in the
Mhm.
insurances for the car, for the health. So this is like how Bhagavatam describes this, in especially in this age of Kali. These are like jackals. Jackals, they will take snatch everything away from us, and we are left with peanuts. So, you know, we work so hard and they take everything away from us. And actually, our need is very simple, but still, it was not there in the Vedic times. Like it's very simple to live, and that's why people could spend a lot of energy. The land is almost free. They live in a simple hut. They don't have much needs, as you're mentioning, simple living, and and then they need little bit. So food is very inexpensive actually. Couple of $100 in a whole month. Am I right?
Mm.
Two, three
Yeah.
hundred dollars if you cook at home. $200-300 in a whole month is good enough to survive.
Mm.
But then they're like jackals and they snatch everything, and now we are left with, now I have to put so many hours in order to just maintain. This is, it is also described in Bhagavatam as Kali Yuga progresses. This this society and thus the pressure, they're like jackals and they snatch so much away that the person feel like, I'm exhausted 18 hours just for a hut and food. And the government will take so much. The person works so hard, the government will take so much, and everybody will snatch, and this person will come to realization, I'm better off going to the forest. So it is said as Kali Yuga progresses, at a later time, people start leaving because they are like, for what?
Mm. Yeah. What's the point?
What's the point? Just to pay my bills when my need is a minimum, a simple living, still just to survive. This is just how the society is formed right now. Unfortunately, it was not there earlier. Very simple needs,
Mm,
very simple work.
yeah, there's not really any emphasis today on sort of just fulfilling needs either. I think, as you're saying, like the society itself is
Uh,
sort of built around the idea that we always need more and more,
uh,
and that like, no matter whatever quality of items you have, there's another higher quality, that you can get. Um, whatever kind of housing you have right now, there's a better one you can get. If
mm,
your rent is $1,500 now, you're hoping maybe someday I can get into that $2,000 a month apartment, or whatever it is. Um, and so a lot of envy is created that way, it seems
mm,
as well, right? You're in a constant comparison,
mm,
between yourself and other people.
mm,
Right when you start a job, like there's this hierarchy, who has the different power and who makes how much more money than I do, and what is it going to take to get what they have.
mm,
Um, it's like it's sort of life is just like this constant comparison, right? Where, people just sort of want what they don't have.
mm,
Um, and when they finally get that thing, typically it's not satisfying,
uh,
but it sort of feeds that fire, and it
mm,
just creates the desire to kind of
mm.
keep getting more.
It's unfortunate how the society has turned up to, and um, an intelligent person should be sober. I should understand well what is really my need and what I need to do to get my needs done, and focus on what's really important. Because the nature of illusion is what is not so important seems very important, and the whole life is spent in running and chasing only. And we never acquire anything. The whole life is running, chasing, 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 and finally we realize, what do I get from this chasing? All I did is time is gone. Now I'm this much old and I'm just chasing throughout my life. Everybody, Prabhu, at the end, peanuts remains. And Alexander the Great, Kalakanta Prabhu was describing, wonderful.
Yeah.
He said, um, uh, he was like one of the thing he said at the time of his death, when he was contracted with some disease, doctors could not help, so he said doctors should carry my coffin. And one thing he said is, throw the gold, silver, and rubies and jewels behind as my coffin is going, because I want to show to people that whatever I have put so much energy is meant to be enjoyed by others. So either the life goes in paying the bills, or it goes in whatever extra acquired. If we have very handsome job, then it's enjoyed by others. But the time is gone for what?
Mm. So
Let
there's another part of this verse then, Proji, where he says this person is free from duality. So how does that play into this, being free from duality? How do we think about that?
So duality means I like something, I hate something. Like to be rich, hate to be poor. Um, I like to have a nice jacket and I hate to have this jacket with this color. I like. So there is always some desires, always some attraction. Like you said, the competition and the job, and okay, I want to be like them. I don't want to be like the way I am now. So this is all dualities. So neutral means one is clear with the goal. Duality means one is living a very external life, as you said, which is not satisfying, but he's chasing, chasing, chasing. Still, he gets what he's destined for. And because of his dualities and attachments and desires, he's running, running, running. And then he has not sufficient time. And then you ask him, come Taco Tuesday. I'm too busy. Too busy. Too busy to exist, actually.
I like that. Too busy to exist.
So
Yeah.
Brahma says this word is struggle for existence. It's a struggle to exist. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a struggle to exist. And the moment now the life of people is such that the moment one loses a job, existence becomes questionable. Really, one has a fear how to exist after a few months. I can exist for maybe 4 months now. After that, I can't exist. It's a struggle, constant struggle to exist.
So that reminds me of something you mentioned at the beginning, Proji, which is, the story of Srila Prabhupada. He takes the samosa off of, um, the from the person who's walking by at the station. It just made me think about how, if we really only focus on what we need as far as what the bodily needs are, um, it's really like it's not that hard. It's really not that hard to take care of those needs, and especially like if you're really paying attention. I guess that's one thing I get from that story. It's like if you really are paying attention,
Mm,
um, you see all around you how abundant this world is. I think
mm,
that's something that he talks about quite often in his purports is like,
mm,
the earth it has plentiful food. There's enough food for every animal on earth just naturally. They're
mm,
born in whatever environment they live in, and there just is enough food, you know,
mm,
at least for most of them, like during a normal period of time, right?
mm, mm,
And it's similar with us. Like if we just focused on, I just need basic shelter, I just
mm,
need to get enough food to eat and have some clean water, and you know, that's about it. Um, it really wouldn't be very difficult. It wouldn't take a lot of time. Um, but it's just sort of I mean, that method of living seems kind of unimaginable.
mm,
Um, especially like uh I don't know, just it's like if you're exposed to like the constant advertisements
mm,
that are just sort of like popping up everywhere. Like if you're one of those people right now during election season who doesn't pay for YouTube, um,
mm,
you just like every single video, every 5 minutes, there's a minute long ad for some political candidate or something. And, these messages sort of get like
mm,
slowly pounded into your brain if you're
mm,
really like a part of the society and you're,
mm,
just out and about or any, it finds its way in.
mm,
And it just makes it seem like you're saying, that illusory nature to it. It makes it seem um, like something that's not true makes it seem like it is true. Something that
mm,
you don't need makes it seem like you do need it.
mm,
And but yeah, it's very difficult to think about that. I mean, what would you recommend? Like, is there anything like kind of practical you can think of just like how to kind of simplify the life a little bit,
mm.
get into that mode of like simple living, high thinking?
Well, practical tip is like Srila Prabhupada said, work 8 hours and remaining time engage in serving the Lord. It's like practical.
Mhm.
I will tell you one, two examples.
Mhm.
Very nice. There was a butcher and he was very famous for hunting. I mean, not it's very long back. And then Narad Muni came. Narad Muni is a saint. He said, "Do you know the reaction you're going to get for the job you're doing?" You said, we have expertise on this. I kill the animals in such a way that the meat is very tasty and we are famous in the society. And everybody leaves everybody because we half kill them and we let all the blood ooze out naturally and the flavor goes.
Oof.
Narad Muni is a saint, and Narad Muni is like having hard time to digest these words, and he's like, this is our coming from generations. We have found a formula. This is like best thing we can offer, and that's how we sustain ourselves. Narad Muni says, no, this work is sinful. Don't this killing and this is not good. Don't engage in these work. And then Narad Muni showed him a vision of what the reaction will be for harming other living entities. We are like non-violent people now. So we don't want to harm others. But if we harm others, then the reaction comes back to us. There is a law of karma that applies. So Narad Muni showed him how the karma applies to his life. And he was aghast at you, like, oh, so you like, what do I do? Narad Muni said, take up some more simple work or engage in service of the Lord. Like first, his question was, what do I do with my job? He said, whatever you have earned from this kind of harming other living entities, you should donate in charity whatever you have earned. Then he's like, if I give up my job, then that's all my existence is based on. How do I survive? He said, just do that, serve the Lord will provide. And then because he had faith in the words of Narada, he just engaged in serving the Lord, and he gave up his activities which are not conducive for his spiritual life. And then the saint who was a spiritual master, he left. Then the saint came back after some time, and this person was transformed. He was engaged in service of the Lord. Um, he had tears in his eyes. In serving the Lord, he was so satisfied, became completely free from all reactions. And people were amazed by the transformation. And people will come and give some donation. It's natural in India to saints, people give donation. So when Narada Muni was walking by with Angida, another saint, Narada said, "Oh, I have a dependent here. So let me see how he's doing," because spiritual master loves the dependents. So Narada Muni came by, and as soon as he saw Narada Muni came, then he started running towards Narada Muni, and he's like running so fast and avoiding even the ants which are walking and stepping over, and he was crying and he fell at the feet of, and he's like, because of you my life is transformed. Angira was surprised. He said, I know this person who he was and what he has transformed into, the power of devotional service. And later on, this person, he said, I have one request. You are sending me too much food. I don't need that much for my existence. So please reduce it. The other one, he said, all right. So it may not be contemporary example, but the idea is when we leave or when we are not much focused on ourselves and when we focus on serving the society will take care of us. Then another example I know is Kalakanta Prabhu. So Kalakanta Prabhu is a spiritual master, like very greatly advanced soul and has lot of attraction for the Lord. So he decided in his life, I am never gonna work. I'll work only for Krishna, nobody else. So then he has a family, he has three children, two grandchildren, and so many responsibilities are there. And his wife also is like, Sir, I agree with you. We should serve Krishna, but what about practical maintenance? Then Krishna inspired Kalakanta Prabhu, and what he would do is he has a house. So he sold the house. He got maybe 1.5 times what he bought it for. And he invests some of that in buying another house. And they would start living there for a few years. And in that time, the house value will increase and he would serve the Lord. And then he would sell that house and get a higher price. He gets like 30, 40, $50,000. That runs him for about 2 years. Then he would buy the house and sell the house. Just by buying and selling the house, he maintained his life throughout.
Wow.
That's all. All he worked is he would just serve the Lord. And the Lord take care of his family, Lord take care of everything.
Hmm.
So it depends, it's very hard for somebody to have faith that the Lord may maintain. People may think like, okay, Lord may maintain those who are saints and they Lord, but then who will maintain us? General thought is there. But then Krishna gives the ideas. Kalakanta Prabhu is convinced that Krishna is helping in my maintenance. And actually, there are three personalities who run the universe. One is Shiva, who is responsible for destruction. Brahma is responsible for creation, and Lord Vishnu is responsible for maintenance. And when he has taken the responsibility of maintenance, why do we have to worry about will I be maintained or not? The Lord may act through somebody else, or the Lord may act from within our heart. And there are many like Vaisheshika Prabhu, if you have heard about him, whole life he served. And today, all those who engage their life with faith and serve the Lord, all of them are spiritual masters today. Then Grahasthashram, they have kids and they are gurus. Why would one devotee ask Gaur Govind Maharaj, who chooses guru? Is it the ISKCON who chooses guru? Gaur Govind Maharaj says, no, it's Lord Chaitanya who chooses. It's Lord Chaitanya who chooses. So, what is Guru? Who teaches by example. So, Lord has made them as a teachers because they have taught through their own life by their faith. So here Krishna is telling what comes by his own accord. It's completely opposite to what the society would think. Society would think like, if I don't take care of myself, I'm doomed. My maintenance is on me. And Kalakanta Prabhu was mentioning that's also a concept of doership.
Of
I
doership.
I can remove, I have to maintain myself, I have to take care of my dependents, I have to remove the impurities from my heart. I. So it's the same concept. But Kalakanta Prabhu, he speaks very short,
Mhm.
but powerful. He speaks a lot in a line, in a line, in a line. And then he leaves up to us. You understand to whatever extent you want to understand. That's not. I'm just trying to serve the Lord. And, however Lord inspires devotees. I'm just gonna glorify the Lord. Very difficult and hard pill to digest. How the Lord is a maintainer. So it's, and then Prabhupada realized that this is not practical for most people because it takes a lot of faith. Then Srila Prabhupada said, all right, work 8 hours. But then some are like working only, working only, working only, and get peanuts and only paid bills. Ah, oh, sir, it's very nice, but we are spending so much time towards those things that is not going to help us, and we have very little time towards those things that is actually the purpose of human form of life. For what is there's something between reality and illusion. For reality, we don't have time. For illusion, all the time is spent. So it's amazing, actually.
Yeah. There's a, well, I guess, on the one hand, it takes a certain amount of austerity, um, to live more simply, like where you're just sort of
Ah,
meeting your
ah,
needs. And so that's I guess one difficulty that one might face, if
ah,
like I'm trying to live maybe a little more spiritually or a little more simply, some of those luxury things have to go. Some of those
mm,
extra things, um,
mm,
there's no time, there's no
mm,
energy to put into that, right?
mm,
And then I guess, then the question might be, well, why would I want to do it? Um, and as you're saying, if you have a, a certain amount of faith, right?
mm,
Like
mm,
it's this isn't all up to me. It's really like it's sort of the opposite of what one might think it is, I
mm,
suppose, right? Like you
mm,
live in this world thinking I have to do all this stuff. Like you kind of learn from it from the people growing up, from people around you. It's just it's on you. Like all of this is on you. You have to take care of yourself. You have to earn, earn, earn. You have to just like keep grinding, keep working all your all life,
mm,
And this is really an opposite kind of message.
mm,
It's like if you actually put your faith right in a higher power,
mm,
you really like give up some of that control. Say,
mm,
okay, it's not all on me. I'm gonna just try to serve to the
mm,
best of my ability, give what I can, and just have faith. There's so many examples, right? Like you're talking about Kalakanta Prabhu. There's so many others
mm,
where that has played out in people's life,
mm, mm,
And if you go looking for that kind of thing, you don't actually even have to look too hard. You can find a book, many books, different stories,
mm,
podcasts, and movies and documentaries about people who have done just that, right?
mm,
They sort of develop that faith just to the point where they just give away a little bit of that. It's like you have
mm,
to sacrifice some of the pride.
mm,
You have to, it really, I don't want to downplay the difficulty of it.
mm,
It's not like I've done this anyway, but
mm,
it really is a difficult thing, like
mm,
to kind of give that up, to develop enough, um, enough confidence that, it's like I don't have to live in fear in this universe.
mm,
Like I don't
mm.
have to worry about my existence all the time. My existence can
I
just be
know,
taken care of.
bro. Everyone is just struggling to exist. Hey, I exist. So many people. I know a person over 100,000 salary. His existence is questionable, bro. He's like, how do I exist? I have to take loans. I have these bills and this is struggling to exist. Like, ah, no time. Overwork, work, work, and with that salary also, what do I do?
Mm.
It just, as you said, bro, it takes a leap of faith, and it's not easy to develop that. But then baby steps can be taken. As you said, okay, let me try giving a little bit of it and see if I'm still okay. And like you said, one of the difficulties there's little bit austerity, and people think, what's the point of it? People want luxury and they have fear of giving it up, and they're like, so why people want luxury is because of satisfaction. Oh, I have this nice green chair with me. I love it. You know, because there is a conception that this green chair is going to give me some happiness, some comfort. And I have these nice things, and everything is going to give me some happiness. But actually, we hear that the happiness is not outside, it's within. With everything, we may be fully empty. And with nothing, we may be like, still Kalakanta Prabhu, he's not like financially well to do, Prabhu. They live in a farm, Krishna is arranged, and he travels, he gets some donation, simple life, but he's so absorbed. Who can say that he's unhappy? Because he doesn't have a nice chair, he doesn't have a nice car, he doesn't, you know. But they leap of it. And another thing also I was thinking, there is we glorify the name of the Lord. We have kirtans. So there is something Bhagavatam says that these names are like Chintamani stone. So Chintamani is like desire fulfilling. So name itself is desire fulfilling. Somebody who is engaged with a leap of faith and they want luxury, Krishna gives whatever luxury you need. It's quite contrary. But then the devotee himself is like, no, no, this is not good. This luxury is not good because I may become complacent and become absorbed in that. But actually, any desires one has, through the name, he can attain that. Again, that takes a leap of faith to have faith. But then, like Srila Prabhupada would say, Krishna maintains elephant. He eats 40 pounds of rice every day. It's a lot. 40 pounds of rice is a lot. But then Prabhupada says, we don't hear elephant dying out of hunger. Krishna is providing through somebody. Likewise, when you have leap of faith, it's not that Krishna will come in his four-handed form and say, my dear Prabhu, I'm so grateful you have this leap of faith. Now what do you want? And from mystically from his hand, something's emanating and some magic is happening. And yeah, 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 it's not like that. But just like how Krishna is providing elephant through the jungle authorities or through however, or he's walking and he finds something, some food, maybe a trash pile, and he gets what he wants to eat, and he's however Krishna is providing elephant. Likewise, Krishna provides everybody through one way or the other. Or Krishna gives an intelligence from within, try this. And they try. But actually Krishna is maintaining, Krishna is providing. But it takes a leap of faith. All right, Krishna, I'm depending upon you. You guide me and I'll do it. And then Krishna will provide.
So there's a final part of this verse
Mm,
that says, this person who is not entangled is steady in both success and failure.
mm,
And so it seems like this requires maybe a little bit more faith, or maybe this is like one of those things that comes as sort of a test somewhere along the way, right?
mm,
Um,
mm,
even if say, you do give some things up and you try to live more simply, there's going to be success, there's going to be failure. If you're in real estate, for example, maybe a deal doesn't go through the way
mm.
you wanted it to, or maybe the market takes a downturn and the properties lose their value instead of gaining it. Um, somewhere along the way, we experience failure,
We
and
experience.
we experience failure,
Mm,
you know. But it's said very frequently that we don't often go to God when we are successful and happy.
mm,
That's not
mm,
the time that people typically will start praying, or they'll start seeking. It's sort of during
mm,
those down times. It's when there is some kind of a failure. There's some sort of um, that feeling of like, how am I going to keep
mm,
existing? Or, what is the purpose of this existence? It's like
mm,
in those moments is when we sort of typically, uh, you know, take that kind of step. A lot of times,
mm,
when we're actually willing to give that kind of faith. Um, but in this verse, it's describing this person as being, it's like, well, okay, whether they succeed, whether they don't succeed, they just keep going,
mm,
right? I guess that word that stands out to me is steadiness. You
mm,
sort of just continue whatever, it's like that faith you have just isn't going to be shaken by sort of the transient nature of the world.
mm,
Whatever happens. If you lose
mm,
something, if you gain something, you kind
mm,
of you just continue doing what you're doing.
mm, mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm. Suppose we are an employee and we are working for the our manager, suppose. And he has a project, and there's a project manager, and they invest something in a project. And we pleased our manager. We did what they wanted us to do. And the whole project that the whole company was investing failed. How much does it impact us? Not much, actually. Why? Because we did our part, or what manager asked us to do, we did our role. And then he did his part in a way. Maybe I'm not talking about the top level manager or the CEO who is decision maker. Let's talk about the employee. So he is not much concerned about if the company made a lot more or lot less, because he is happy with his immediate superior and he did what he asked for, what he was asked to do, and he is doing his job properly. So likewise, I was thinking this example is not an exact example, but I was thinking when we are trying to serve a superior power, and it's like, my lord, I'm doing this for your pleasure. And then the if the service didn't go very well, or we felt like it was utter failure of the service that I wanted to do and I completely messed it up. But then it was, my lord, please forgive me, I did it as a service to you. No other intention, just to serve you. Then um, um, it is successful.
Mm.
Although it may externally seem, but it is successful because it was done with the right motive, with the right intention. So, um, and a devotee knows that what the result is also dependent upon the Lord, what the result of the service. And he is steady because his goal, his purpose is not what I want from the activity. His purpose to serve the Lord, and the purpose itself is served. When we are working towards a goal and we don't get a goal, naturally frustration will come. But when the purpose is to serve the Lord or please the Lord, and the Lord is pleased, then the purpose was not what I'm going to get out of it. The purpose was, I'm doing it as an offering to you. And so it's like the equation is different and it's served. So in that way, he is not affected by success or failure because he was not working keeping that in the mind.
Mm. This makes it more sense to me as you're saying this, why a lot of times it feels like in spiritual community you're sort of um I guess sometimes it's like you're kind of thrown into situations, or someone will
Mm,
just say, "Hey, you want to do this?" You never
mm,
done it before. Never. It's
mm,
just sort of like you want to go and because it's just not about like we think you're going to do the best possible job that anybody could. You're going to have the most success. You know, um, sometimes it's like you're maybe you do need to have some failures before you really learn something.
uh,
It could be something as simple as like you want to play this instrument during a kirtan. Never
mm,
played it before,
mm,
or it could be something bigger. Hey, we have
mm,
a big project we want you to be a part
mm,
of, whatever it is.
mm, mm,
Um, but it's really just it's not about the actual result, right?
mm.
It's not about like is this going to succeed or fail, or
Yeah,
is it going to succeed this much? It's
yeah,
it's about the intention you put behind it. So,
yeah,
I guess it's taken me a while to kind of just even
yeah,
begin to see that. But
yeah.
yeah, I think you do see that, with people. It's like they're kind of just looking for you to show some sincerity. They're just looking
Mm,
for you to like undertake an
Mm,
endeavor just because this is a service. It's being
mm,
given to you. It's right here for
mm,
whatever reason, even if you think you whether you think you deserve it or not, whether you think you can
mm,
do it or not, this opportunity is here. It's being
mm.
given. So
Yes.
if you
Excellent,
put
bro.
your effort into it, then that's the thing that matters.
So I was also thinking a devotee is not attached or a practicing spiritualist. He is not attached to the activity or the result of the activity. He is attached to the act of service. As long as I'm engaged, I'm good.
Mm,
What is the result of my engagement? It's not so important. Like, we had one more um, community member who moved in, Nadia Vihari Prabhu.
mm,
Somehow, some other situations came and then he had to leave. So he came, he stayed, he served, very nice. He left. Okay, things continues. And many times we start some programs or we take some new service and we're like, Krishna, I really want to serve you in this way. Krishna, all like, thank you, Prabhu, for serving me in this way. And we serve, and the result is nothing, actually, peanuts, or not even peanuts sometimes. We go week after week and nothing, nothing, nothing. And then we see that, okay, maybe Krishna has some other plans. And then we give up that service and we are like, but we want to serve. Then we are like, okay, give me other engagement then. If that doesn't work out, give me other engagement. I'm okay. You give me that. All right, I'll do that. that is gone, gone. No problem. Why? Because the act of service is important. Devotee is attached to serving the Lord, but he's not attached to serving the Lord in a particular way, and he doesn't. The intention is not to be the enjoyer of the result of his activities. If the intention is to be the enjoyer of the result, and then I don't get what I want from the service, then I'm frustrated. But his motive is serve the Lord, and the act of seva is important. Sometimes he is successful, like Srila Prabhupada somewhere go and zero people would come. And sometimes it's like 50,000 people are there. है ना? But somebody either Srila Prabhupada was neither extremely joyful nor he was miserable. He's like, I tried. This was my service, and whatever Krishna wants, I tried here also. And if success comes, Krishna's mercy, failure comes, Krishna's mercy. So they're not working for success or failure, but they are working as an act of service. This needs to be done. I'm gonna try this, this, this. They're trying everything, but not for the results or failure. So since they're not looking for result or failure, but the act of service, it doesn't impact them. Just continue and they are joyful. Even after they have a miserable service, again they come and they kirtan and they chant the holy name and they associate with devotees, take prasad, they are blissful. Even after an utter failure. Come
yeah,
back
it's
and
amazing. Mm. And I guess there's like two sides of that coin. So
Mm,
you it's like I feel like a lot of people might be, it's like they're hesitant to give things up, or they're hesitant to give up like the credit, let's say, they're hesitant
mm,
to give up the credit for the things that they might accomplish,
mm,
you
mm,
know. And
mm,
so it's kind of like if you give up the credit, right? If
mm,
you give up like whatever happens, if there is success in your endeavor, it's not like you get to claim it, right? Just
mm,
like you don't have to claim the failure.
mm,
That's kind of the
mm.
other side of it. It's
Wonderful
like that
program.
pressure is totally taken off. You don't have to
Mm,
feel this
mm,
all this pressure that we kind of all feel all the time,
mm,
in our work life and our personal life and everything. People expect
mm,
so much.
mm,
That gets removed, right? There
mm,
is none of that. And
mm,
so like you say, it's a very like you just can be joyful with your life no matter what
mm,
you're doing.
mm,
And sort of one of the things that has to be sacrificed is
mm,
that like, see, this is mine. Like, see,
mm,
I did that,
mm,
you know,
mm,
and you see like in devotee communities, p- people still really like to give, others the credit for the things that they do,
mm,
glorify other devotees for the things that they've done. But, if you watch like a devotee who's receiving that kind of, praise, admiration, they don't like to accept that. It's
mm,
sort of like
mm,
there is it's something beyond just like taking a humble stance. It's sort of like a knowledge that like I know like this is just it's not mine. Like what it's like the
yeah.
credit. that you're
So
trying
wonderful.
to give to me is Krishna's. It's not mine.
You tell devotees so much you are doing. This Prabhuji, you are not doing anything. Hey, 24 hours you are serving. You're not able to do anything.
Yeah, the ashram's just full of people who are not doing anything all day long.
I mean, it's so wonderful to be around such people actually. And
Mm,
it's so unpleasing to be around with people and they say, you know what? You are succeeding because of me. I am the boss. I did this. It's so uncomfortable to be around those people. So
mm,
wonderful to be around those people. They say, no, we are actually, we don't do anything. Just taking credit is also doership mentality. Na? And my experience is how Krishna removed that. And it's not easy. We began devotional service, but the doership mentality remains. It's not so easy. Some nice kirtan and the thought may come. You did a nice kirtan today. So there is this, you play wonderful Mridanga. Amazing. What did you do? Excellent, actually. So these things may pop up, may. Um, but then wherever there is a desire for credit, Krishna gives us failures there.
mm,
And whatever frustration we get in Krishna service is actually a training to become more and more selfless. And when we are uninspired to do because the failure is there, then Krishna gives some encouragement. No, no, you continue. And then he gives failure again. So everything Krishna does, Krishna can give all success today, but we are not ready to take the success. So Krishna gives whatever we can handle. And because Krishna doesn't want success, Krishna wants us. So Krishna does whatever it takes for us to purify our consciousness to go to him. And we just have to be consistent in our seva, and success or failure we just start ignoring, and then a time comes when that consciousness is purified by that service, by serving the Lord, by devotional service. Then we reflect the same consciousness in everything we do, because the internal software is changing. So just being consistent in serving the Lord, and Krishna will take care of everything. It's so beautiful, actually. You just have to be on it. Just like never give up. Be on it, and everything will be taken care over a period of
mm,
time. It's something so deeply ingrained. Now we cannot change tomorrow, bro. Because for lifetimes we are living in a certain way. Now it takes some time. So Krishna is working on us. Just have to give him free hand. All right, you want to hit me, do whatever. And have that faith, and Krishna will take care of us.
mm. Yeah, beautiful, Prabhuji. And then in the end, one is not entangled anymore, or
Ah,
slowly disengages
mm,
from all of those causes of suffering.
mm,
Right? I guess that's sort of Krishna's message at the end of the verse.
mm,
If you're able to do this, if you're able to do it a little bit, you'll see that
mm,
release of suffering a little bit.
mm,
You know,
mm. Yeah.
this is like one of the things that Kalakanta he always he makes this nice, very simple description that I've
Mm,
heard him make a few times. It's like if you're a little bit interested in God, God's going to show a little bit of interest in you.
mm,
If you are very interested in God, he'll be very interested in you. If you show a lot of love and affection towards God, he'll show a lot of love and affection toward you. And I think I just that principle works here, right? Like however much you're willing to put into it is how much you'll get back. And definitely, examples like yourself, many Kalakanta Prabhu as well, many other devotees who have been doing this for many years. Those are the examples to look to. Like you're saying, it takes a long time, takes a while. Um, but it's really that time, like it just, it slowly wears that stuff away.
mm,
And the more you put into it, the more that you get out of it, the more like sort of disengaged, the more free you become,
mm.
right?
Krishna is wonderful. We just let him work on us. Just magic. He is a magic wand. And actually, we don't see how Krishna is working in our life. One devotee was mentioning that. He's for first 10 years, you won't see how Krishna's hand is there. 20 years also, you may not see. After 30 years, you will see, oh, Krishna was working on me day one. I came in contact with devotees. Day one, I started taking his name. He started working on me already, but I can't see his hands. So Govind Prabhu, after 40 years, he wrote a book, Seeing the Hand of the Divine.
Mm.
Wrote a book. Just he's working on us already. And everything, good or bad phases, he's already working on us. He knows what we need. He's very personal in each and every of our life. Just be on it. And we have faith, he's doing good. Whatever ups or down, it's like operation. Example is given. Operation isn't, it's not so pleasing many times. There is cut and there is, but then once the cancer is removed, it's so much relieving. Although it goes to a little bit of a tough phase. So many times practicing devotees may go through some phases, but then it's like Krishna is helping us to become fully purified. And then it's so blissful. And then just continue. Just have faith in Krishna. Krishna is working on us.
Mm. Very nice, Ruji. Continue. Good word.
All right. So should we call it a day?
Yeah, very nice.
Okay. Thank you all for joining. We hope to see you next week again. Bye for now.